Hey VC, what can I say? My friends hate me. John, Vinyl Rundown. See, I just confused two different vinyl community members, friends, or I thought they were friends. John from Digital Gramophone hates the new name of my random record picks, as does pretty much everybody else. I think one person likes it. Two or three people apparently told me that the rhythm section is the name of a book and a new movie coming out next year with Blake Lively and Jude Law. I didn't know that, but the thing is, that doesn't fucking matter. Really? You know? I mean, the rhythm section is a thing, and it has been a thing for a long time, way before Blake fucking Gossip Girl Lively got into it. So that doesn't count. Whack-a-mole's different. But I've been doing all this research, and I found out that whack-a-mole was invented in 1976. And really, the guy that did trademark it stole it from a Japanese game, a similar game where they just whacked a lot of animals, probably whales, right? Sorry. Not just moles. So this has been a real shit show. This is kind of like when Lou Reed put out Metal Machine Music, or when John Lennon put out Sometime in New York City, or actually that would be a good contest or a good thread. Shitty albums by great artists, and I feel I failed on this whole switching the thing. Wanted to change it. I decided to change it and get rid of whack-a-mole because of some silly things. But then I started also, like in the last day or so, last 24 hours, I've been researching more whack-a-mole things, and there's a lot of parodies. There's a great parody, an animated parody, a whack-a-mole, and you Google it, look it for the cartoon. And I did save it. I don't know if it shows up on my saves. You guys can't see it. But it was a hilarious cartoon. It's about a 3-minute short of whack-a-mole about this couple dating, and the punchline is hysterical. So I guess what I'm saying, and I want you to forgive me, is that I'm gonna dump this it's like New Coke or Tylenol. Well, the Tylenol, that's a scare. That was a different thing. You know, this was a shitty, fucked up product rollout, and I should know. I've been doing branding and marketing and related things for 34 years now, almost. And I failed you. I failed myself. I failed my family and my friends, and I failed the vinyl community. So, by the way, I am playing a record in the background. This is from this wonderful Nat King Cole box set on Resonance Records, 10 LPs, and it's the transcriptions from 1936 to 1942. Just great old recordings, pre-Capitol stuff with Trio and a few other musicians. I'm gonna go turn it down, so can you just wait a second? Because this is Whack-a-Mole number 45. I'm back to Whack-a-Mole. That's my bottom line. The vinyl community has demanded I stick with Whack-a-Mole. Although, when I did say the rhythm section, the best new suggestion, and I curse now, I didn't remember who wrote it today, but you can look, or maybe anyway, was the rhythm method. See, I like snarkiness, and the rhythm method would have been fun, but I don't want to offend anyone there either. So, one moment. All right, so since this is Whack-a-Mole number 45, as you can see, I'm in a different environment. I'm upstairs in my living room. I'm gonna do something completely different. 45, what do you think I'm gonna do? Whack-a-Mole, 45. I'm gonna pick random 45s. Now, my 45s are in a closet in the guest room in these drawers. I have 8 of these drawers that I had from an old system called Racket. The guy, Piers Madsen, used to make this and used to advertise these way back in Goldmine magazine and stereo magazines, the whole before the internet. And I bought these from a guy who was selling all this stuff, so I got them pretty cheap. But I can't find any more, and they're full. I have 8 drawers of 45s. I don't really buy a lot of 45s anymore, but I have some from as a kid and when I worked in record stores and beyond. And out of those 8, 4 of them are all Beatle related. But I thought I would pick 10 instead of, because they're small. So that makes no sense. But I'm gonna pick 10 45s randomly, just from 2 of the drawers. So I have 2 of the drawers here out of the 4 non-Beatle drawers. There's no room here to take out 4, so you don't really care, right? So no margaritas, no martinis, just a Syrah from Walla Walla Wine Country in Eastern Washington, which I haven't been to still. All right, so here we go. As you can see, I can't even see them. So I'm gonna look down, but I'm not gonna be able to pick. It's still a random thing. Okay. Fulton Records. What the fuck is this? Daddy's Lullaby and You Wrote the Words. Eastman Trio, Ted Noga vocals. 530 Divisadero Street, San Francisco. This must have been an indie thing. I have no idea what the fuck this record is. Help me. I'll have to Google it after. I don't Google it on the air. But so Mazzy's Stump. Did the same guy write them both? Yeah, written by Frank Kukulka. Kukulka. Is there a date? No. I mean, Divisadero Street says in the Fillmore District, San Francisco. Right near Geary. Or it could be down in the Marina. Which way to Divisadero? Anyway, I know exactly where it is. I have no idea why I have this or how I have this. But in fact, the one right next to it I'm gonna do instead, because I don't know that one. But a white label promo, which is a promo copy I got of Earth, Wind & Fire's Got to Get You Into My Life, the 45 on white label that I got from Columbia when I worked back in the day. Mono and stereo, as you know, it's a demonstration version, Got to Get You Into My Life, the great version by Earth, Wind & Fire. And the song, the song from the Beatles' Revolver. So there you go. God, I think I just want to show you records instead of randomly. When I pull this out, the other thing that just came out, okay, the other thing, I'm going to pull a few. If I grab something and just see it, this is totally whacked. This is in the rhythm section. This is whack-a-mole, but it's a little different. But I have 2 picture sleeves, or 1 picture sleeve. What's this? 2 copies? So 1 copy or 2 copies? Anyway, Bob Dylan, Hurricane Carter. Great single. I always love this. I got 2 copies of it. 2 copies of the picture sleeve. When I worked in stores, I used to, if it was a song I really like and a picture sleeve, I'd grab 2. So maybe at some point I should trade and sell, but I love this single. And what's great about it is the Hurricane Carter. Oh, this is not the one I was thinking of in my mind. I'm sorry, it's Monday. But Hurricane, great song from the Desire album. A-side, B-side is continued because it's a long song. So it starts on the A-side, finishes off on the B-side. I was thinking of George Jackson when I first pulled it out. And that was another song he wrote about the prison escape of George Jackson. Oh, Lord, I cut George Jackson down. Oh, Lord, they laid him in the ground. And what's great about that single, there's an acoustic and a big band version of it. So I do have a bunch of Dylan singles here, but that's for another day. I still have no idea what the fuck this is, anyway. All right, so I don't know, that's 2 really, 3, but we'll see. Okay, Grupo Sportivo. I have their record on Sire Records. They're either Dutch, Swedish, Norwegian. Now, I know I have some viewers from up in that area of, and I hate to put them all, I'm not confusing. I've been up there, but I'm not confusing Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, the countries up there, but I just can't remember which country they're from. Maybe they're Dutch. Maybe I'm thinking of they're Dutch. This is a Sire EP and Grupo Sportivo, kind of new wave. So this could have been in my new wave contest for Shad, but it's not. Grupo Sportivo, kind of pop new wavy, 70s, I guess. What is it? 1979. So just during the heyday of the whole new wave thing. What was it? 6 songs. Bernadette, Disco Really Made It, Are You Ready? Girls Never Know, Tokyo, Rubber Gun. Produced by Dan DeFruits. Produced by Robert Jan Steeps and Hans Vanderberg. I guess they're Dutch, right? Come on, help me out here. I used to know this stuff and I just can't remember. But Grupo Sportivo, kind of a cool record. Like the band. Okay, here we go. Joe Jackson Band. We're really in the kind of the new wave thing here. I think I was getting a lot of those singles too. This is another EP. Joe Jackson, The Harder They Come. You know, it's probably the Jimmy Cliff song, I think. Yeah, another EP on A&M. Harder They Come, Out of Style, and Tilt. Produced by Joe Jackson. Performed by Joe Jackson. Yeah, the Jimmy Cliff song, Harder They Come, EP, A&M Records. Okay. We're just gonna pull for a while. Let's just pull for a while and have some fun, okay? Oh. I just pulled 2, and what's great about this is, let's talk about the new wave punk years in San Francisco, 2 indie bands. Kilowatt, and it's signed by Ken Cameron. Kilowatt, the record chain I worked for most of the time was called the Record Factory. They had maybe like 20, 25 stores at one point in the Bay Area, Northern California mostly. Kilowatt, the guy Ken worked for, we had our own distributor called Mighty Fine Distributing, and Kilowatt lived in the neighborhood, Ken lived in the neighborhood, Scottish guy, Irish guy, English guy. Again, I'm not throwing you all in the same ballpark. He actually lives in Portland now, and we've been contacting each other on Facebook. But I bought this single because we sold it in the store. You know, I think we did a consignment thing, or since he worked for our company, we sold it. But Kilowatt, signed by Ken. Anyway, it's they were a punk band, kind of a punk rock and roll band, a little like what's the Irish guitarist I'm thinking of? Roy Gallagher a little bit, but more. So Kilowatt, there's a single. You know what a single looks like. What is this? Special Love and Thank You. What is this? Oh, this is like it thanks to everyone who worked on this and the boys and girls at Mighty Fine and Record Factory. Chris Knabb and Aquarius Records. Peter Miller, Dirk and Hess for being tolerant. Oh, they're thanking everyone. They're thanking the sensational Alex Harvey Band. That's who I was thinking of. They kind of have that for existing. Cyclone, last but not least, our road crew. Everyone else in San Francisco, it's meant to be that way. This is a time, this is in the mid-70s, San Francisco, late 76, 77, maybe. Doesn't have a date here, does it? Nope. And but there was a whole indie scene happening back then, which is kind of cool. And the other local band that I got here was Kid Courage. They were kind of a local, kind of punky pop band, new wavy, more than, they weren't hardcore. You can tell because they look like they're in a fucking college. They look like the Revenge of the Nerds, the guys that beat up the nerds. Kid Courage, kind of good-looking boys dressed nicely. Looks like they got all their clothes at the mall rather than at Goodwill. No offense, nothing wrong with getting clothes at the mall, but you know about rock and roll. They weren't exactly punk. I'm a fanatic, and I don't want to dance. Kid Courage, 1980. So there you go, Kid Courage, a local San Francisco Bay Area band. Don't know where these guys are now. Mike Fleck, Rick Devon, David Sykes, Dave Dunwoody, and Larry Elliott. Don't know. Okay. As we continue on. Yep. The Kinks. The Kinks. This is a promo record. A promo or special edition that Arista put out when Misfits came out. I can't remember if they sold this or this was a promo I got. But this is the silliest fucking idea where they put a square record, a round record, in a square record in a round cover. Look at that. Arista. They don't really. So it's Rock and Roll Fantasy, Black Messiah, Misfits, and Permanent Waves. Great songs. Yeah, promo copy, not for sale. Cool collector's item for Kinks fans like moi. So there you go. Okay. As we continue, well, I already saw it, but I picked up this. It's on original reprise, The Kinks, Sunny Afternoon, and I'm Not Like Everybody Else. Original single. That's 1966, maybe? Great song. I'm Not Like Anybody Else. Sunny Afternoon. Great stuff. All right. I'm sticking with the locals, local San Francisco Bay Area back in the 70s. Lila and the Snakes. Lila and the Snakes. Okay. They were sort of connected to the Tubes a little bit, kind of art rock. Lila and the Snakes. And what's her name? Wish I could see as closely. Jane Doorknocker. Now, some of you who ever lived in the Bay Area in the 70s might know Jane Doorknocker, or if you're in New York, that's her right there, Jane Doorknocker. She was sort of a local, somewhat celebrity, did some stuff on the radio in San Francisco. Anyway, unfortunately, the tragedy is she moved to New York and ended up being like the traffic person at one of the local TV stations in the 70s or in the 80s, I guess, in New York, in the Jersey, New York, Tri-City area, and would be in the helicopter and do the morning reports and afternoon reports of traffic. Well, helicopter crashed and she lost her life. But she would, I guess in this period, this is probably 75, 70s, well, late 70s. She sang Pyramid Power, Rock and Roll Weirdos. So kind of Dick Brite and Roger Clark produced it. Little Roger and the Goosebumps and Dick Clark. Little Roger and the Goosebumps featuring Dick Clark did a single, which is in here somewhere, one of my things. It was a parody that they got cease and desist for. It was a great single. It was Stairway to Heaven with the lyrics to Gilligan's Island theme. So it was a parody, and it was great. And they used to do it live in the clubs in San Francisco, and people went great batshit. But I have it here, and they're great. They also did a parody called Kennedy Girl, like Cinnamon Girl, but it was about Kennedy and the whole Chappaquiddick thing, which is pretty wild. Good sense of humor. So Jane Doorknocker, Lila and the Snakes. Okay. I'm just going through it. Okay. Artistic as Hell, Roy Loney. These are like records that most of you don't even know about. Those of you that might know Roy Loney, he was an original member of the Flaming Groovies in San Francisco. My connection to him, I have two connections. One, he also worked in a record store called Portals to Music, which was near San Francisco State College when I was a kid. And I used to go in there, and he worked there, and I bought Tommy the week it came out by The Who. And he was so excited that he goes, "Oh man, it's the greatest album," and I didn't know the Flaming Groovies at the time, but he was so into them and everything. Years later, cut to 1977, 78, 79, I worked with Roy. He worked for ABC Records at the San Francisco office, and we worked together for a while. He also started putting out albums again under the name Roy Loney and the Phantom Movers in the late 70s. But this is an indie single that they put out, Artistic as Hell, Roy Loney. It's got 4 songs, EP. Produced by Roy Loney for Albertson Productions, 1978. There he is. Roy Loney. Okay, let me go and do the other one here. Okay, the Beach Boys. Picture Sleeve, Capitol Records. Dance, 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 and The Warmth of the Sun. I bet you it's on the original Swirl label. And what can I say? You know the Beach Boys? The original single I had as a kid. Okay, here's another one. 45, Whack-A-Mole 45. No longer the rhythm section. Sorry, I apologize, I'm sorry. Bay City Rollers, Dedication and Rock and Roller. From Arista Records, 1977. I did see, they did 2 shows at the Berkeley Community Theater around this time, 77, 70, must have been 77. I went to see them, comps from Arista Records. I went to the matinee, the 4 o'clock show. They did a 4 and an 8 or something like that. Tons of young girls wearing plaid and holding plaid scarves up. We love, you know, Bay City Rollers. It was fun. I had a great time. And I actually have Bay City Rollers. I think I got these as promos. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Picture Sleeve, Cat People, Putting Out Fires, produced by Giorgio Moroder. Moroder, the electronics disco expert, or what do you call it? He was like the maven, big thing in his late 70s, produced a lot of great records. David Bowie, Putting Out Fires, Catwoman, Paul Schrader movie with Nastasia Kinski and, what's his name? Clockwork Orange guy. Come on, help me out. You're yelling it at the camera right now because I know, you know, an old lucky man. Anyway, sung by David Bowie, produced by Giorgio Moroder. There you go. While I'm here, I got a few other Bowie singles. What do I have here? I have Fame, not a picture sleeve. I don't have that. Anyway. All right. Another picture sleeve, going to the new wave and import of the Boomtown Rats, She's So Modern. You can tell when I was getting a lot more singles too. This is all from the 70s, late 70s, late 70s. She's No Modern, Boomtown Rats. What can I say? Okay. Okay, Atco Records. An original Atco Records 45 of Buffalo Springfield. Bluebird, backed with Mr. Soul. Atco Records. Actually, I have 2 copies of it. I don't know why. Oh, a friend of mine gave me his name is on this one, so this is a friend I grew up with. Gave me some of his records back. But Buffalo Springfield, great song. I think I also have here somewhere For What It's Worth as well. Okay, here we go. Running Up the Hill, Kate Bush, 45. It's 1985. I don't know how many we're doing. We're just going here. Okay. Train in Vain, UK copy, The Clash, picture sleeve. Train in Vain with the Roadrunner, no, with Bank Robber and Rockers Galore. Train in Vain, so it's a little mini EP. 33 1/3, or no? Oh, it's a 33 1/3 RPM. Anyway, is that about it? I think that's enough. You know. Okay, I think I'll do one more to end up. One more. Let's see. I have no idea. Oh. The Doors, Wishful Sinful, and Who Scared You? What the fuck is that? Anyway, might as well show one more since we're doing the Doors there. We Could Be So Good Together and The Unknown Soldier, the Doors, Elektra Records. I love that Elektra Records label. Anyway, this is sort of the mea culpa, whack-a-mole, number 45. Again, thanks for being patient with me. I shouldn't drink a pitcher of margaritas when I do that. And to John, to Greg, to Vinyl Richie, who I'm just sending off a thank you for suggesting all these terrible names more than anyone else. But that's it. So, what can I say? Take care, VC. Mazzy loves you.